We're celebrating his Netflix series, Bill Nye Saves the World, which debuts on Netflix Friday. So excited to bring Bill Nye the Science Guy on the show. Hi, Bill.
Good morning.
What a pleasure, Mike. What a pleasure to see you, sir.
So good to be seen.
It is. It's great
Should
to
I
be
get
here.
on the mic?
Microphones are weird instruments, aren't they?
No, they're fantastic.
How do microphones
they're
work?
not
Do you
magic. They're what? They're not magic. They're
I don't know.
yes,
science.
science.
Bill, I mean, how does a microphone work? I've been using one my entire career. I've never thought about it.
You should think about it. So
there's
pressure waves in the air push on a proof mass, a small mass that vibrates in a magnetic field in a magnet, and that converts the motion of air into the motion of an electric field, which we then amplify.
Yeah,
wow,
pillow
look
talk.
at that.
That's pillow talk.
You know, here's my thing. What
is your thing?
Here's my thing, and this is what I love. One of the many things I love about you. We just walk through life blindly, just ignoring beautiful, wonderful things. We do. Like, you know, if you can walk past a rock,
yes.
How many people will pick that rock up and actually look at it and try to figure out where it's from?
Every rock tells a story. I
encourage
you all to pick up rocks and think deep thoughts about rocks. Geology is amazing.
I'm afraid that we skip over some great, wonderful, beautiful things in life because we're just too busy in our own heads.
Yes. No disagreement.
That's why we love you.
Yes.
You must hate the fact that like technology lately with all this tweeting and Instagram and always on the phones. It's like
I hate it. What do you mean? It's my business.
But it's taking away from like enjoying all of these things and going out and
no,
learning
that's
about
why
rocks.
people should listen to the radio every morning.
Amen, sister. I'm with you
That's
there.
what they should do.
Okay, so Mr. the Science Guy.
Yes.
If I pick up a rock,
yes.
what story is it telling me?
It might give you information about where it came from, how old it is, what part of the Earth's crust it is, and then how you got here. Is that enough?
I mean, yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so here we are in eastern New York State. We're just sort of 300 million years old. Silurian period. You can go out there and find a trilobite in the rock. It's big fun, you guys.
What's a trilobite?
It's an ancient animal that their ancestors lived longer than any animal that I think. Okay, this is an extraordinary claim. I have to check it. But the trilobites lived an extraordinarily long period on Earth.
Right.
I'm shooting from the hip on hundreds of millions of years, but they're all gone now. But we know they lived because we find their fossils. All right? It's like CSI, only authentic, real. CSI is cool. It's cool, but it's not. It's not geology.
You know what you do and what your show will remind us when it debuts Friday on Netflix.
Friday, yes, 3 a.m. Pacific time. I mean 3 a.m. Eastern time, midnight Pacific time.
It reminds us that
that first part, that was a joke.
We live these pompous lives where we just think about us and where we are in this world and in this universe. We never stop to think about where it was before us, where it will go after us.
That's all we do in science, man.
Well, I know, but we need to be reminded to do that.
Yes.
That's why we love what you bring to the table.
Hey, everybody, the Earth's old.
It is.
Thank you.
It's very old. We can learn from it, but we can also learn how to treat it, and so it'll be around and serve us.
Well, here's the thing.
Better.
The Earth's going to be here no matter what we do.
Right.
What we want to do is preserve the Earth for us, for me, the human.
Right.
Yes. So that's why we're all concerned about climate change and all the billions of people living here and the exploitation of the ocean and these other big deal environmental issues.
So we're all going to croak one day.
What?
We are.
Yeah.
So tell us why it's important for us to care about what happens beyond our lifetime.
So, do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Yeah, well, there you go. So you're fine.
I have kids.
She has kids.
So people who have kids are concerned about the outcome for their kids, right? Yeah. So what you want to do is get your genes to go into the future so you reproduce. Doesn't take, if you're a guy, it doesn't take long at all.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, well, can be. That's what I've heard. And and so then you want your kids to succeed. You don't want a world where your kids cannot eat or breathe.
And these principles seem very easy to grasp and understand.
Sure it does.
They do. But what about the thought of life on other planets?
Worlds.
In other
So
worlds?
everybody, we are living in an extraordinary time. it is very reasonable that in our lifetime we will find evidence of life on another world.
Right.
Not necessarily life. You might find fossilized microbes on Mars kind of thing. But everywhere we find dampness on the Earth, there is something alive. Talking about bacteria generally. So on Mars now, there are places that are wet every Martian spring. There's water flowing on Mars every spring when the sun melts the ice under the sand. What if we sent the right spacecraft to Mars and found something still alive? Some Martian microbes.
Would it freak too many people out? Are there people who just can't grasp that?
Astronomy always freaks people out.
Right.
There's the whole thing now. The Earth is flat.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Believe this.
Hey, flat Earth people. If you're out there, I tell you what, get a car, rent a car, and drive to the edge of the Earth. Send us some pictures.
Yeah. Don't fall
Well,
off.
there are theories. The
Just
theory
go-
is that you can't because the walls of Antarctica, etc., are so high that you can't get.
It's like we're living in a bowl, is what they're saying.
This is what that they can't. You couldn't actually hit it like you'd hit a wall. This is.
Okay,
the
so here's my concern.
Not that I believe this, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
But
You couldn't actually hit it. You'd hit like a wall. Okay, so I'm very sympathetic to that point of view, but what would be better is get in a spacecraft and look down. Wow. Furthermore,
We should try that one day.
Wow.
Copernicus said if you want to predict the position of objects in the night sky, it's much better if you think of it as the Earth going around the sun rather than the sun going around the Earth. Turned out he was correct. 1543, not bad. So 1543, people, not last week. Get over it. My life has been a waste. I have failed.
I do believe that the round Earth people are outnumbering these flat Earth
The
people.
round Earth people are
They're winning.
outnumbering. But this whole idea that you can have a belief, that you can just believe something so hard, and that is every bit as valuable or valid as facts,
Yeah.
Right.
or what is discoverable through the process of science, is really troubling thing.
What made you fall in love with science?
I don't remember, but I think it was bees.
Yeah.
I used to watch bumblebees and on the azalea bushes in the front yard, and I was fascinated. I watched them so long. How long did you watch them? I watched them so long that I was convinced I was seeing the same bee coming and going, filling up her pollen baskets. You know, all the bees you see are girls. That's all you see is female bees. Jokes? Anyone?
Anyway.
Does all the work, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
All right. So proof of something. So anyway, then I got stung by a bee. My mom put ammonia on it, and this bottle had the skull and crossbones. This is, and I was like, "You're trying to kill me!" What the
That must have been frightening for
and
you.
then it went away. The pain subsided quickly. And I went, that's like magic. But it's not magic, it's
Science.
Yes!
Was that the same theory as if you?
It's not really a theory.
Well, no,
it's,
no, theory, but peeing on a sting. Like
that is, they say that works. I haven't tried it.
Well, the day is young, Bill.
This would have been, I mean, I don't know what sort of athlete you are or how you're
I have no kids. I'm not an athlete.
or how you're equipped. But
Yes.
where this bee sting would have been a challenge.
Okay.
an acrobatic
Our buddy Froggy
Can we
is in
say
our.
challenge? We can say challenge. on-
Yes,
on
we can say
radio?
challenge. Our buddy Froggy's in our Miami studio. You can see him over there. He has a question for you. What's up, Frog?
Well, you know, Bill, I had often started to believe that with Shaq saying the world was flat, but I'm going to guess that you are slightly more intelligent and slightly more qualified to let us know that the world is not flat and that it is, in fact, round. So I believe you.
Okay, well,
Over
Shaq.
We're voting for you.
Over Shaq.
here's our goal in science: is you don't have
Yes.
to take anybody's word for it. That you can run tests yourself and determine that the Earth is round. Try driving to the edge. Let's start with that.
Right. Or get in a spaceship and take a look down. Like
That's
you
a
said.
good one. Or
Right.
look at the position of objects in the night sky, and
Right.
so on. And so, you'll find that it's much more reasonable that the Earth is round than it's
Right.
flat. And our objective in science is to discover truths in nature that everybody can prove for him or herself. Now, you can get into this deep philosophical thing. The only thing you can be certain of is that you're thinking or that you exist. But let's go a little past that. The Earth is round, everybody.
Okay. Do we all in favor say aye?
Because of humans.
All
you can't vote on it.
Yeah, we're voting.
That's just what we're talking about.
If you're just turning us on, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
It's not a matter of opinion.
I know.
This is something. This is provable.
We're taking a vote, just to
but
clarify.
There is peer review. So we're having the Science March this weekend, and this is so hilariously funny in Science March land. What do we want? Science. When do we want it?
Now. Forever.
After careful peer review.
Okay.
That is hilarious. That is science comedy right there.
Bill Nye the Science. Hold on,
Bill.
can you hold on one second? Bill Nye the Science Guy is here. His new Netflix series, Bill Nye Saves the World, debuts Friday. Netflix, of course, it's going to be there for you. How many show episodes or
13.
Parts? And they're all
6.5 hours. Binge it.
We're going to binge it.
Binge it good.
I love that.
It's not too late.
You're such a learned guy, and you're so fascinating. But are there still things that fascinate you that just kind of blow you away?
Well, yes.
Like what blows you away?
So, everybody, you and I are made of the same material as stars, and furthermore, the ratio of elements in the Earth's crust can be predicted with mathematically based on the age, size, and shape of our star, the sun. So you and I are at least one way that the universe knows itself. That freaks me out every day.
How can we apply that to help us in our daily lives?
Well, do you like food?
Yes.
Yes. So that grows on the Earth as a result of sunlight coming in with a little bit of primordial energy coming out of the Earth, the heat of the Earth. And so the reason you're able to live is because the universe is 13.6 billion years old, and our solar system's 4.6, something like that, 4.5. So you're part of this larger whole. And by understanding the laws of nature, you can have an extraordinary life and be on the radio every morning.
And this excites you?
Yes. Well, especially this morning on this radio.
Of course. But has there been anything new, any new discoveries that you woke up, read it, and you went, yes, this is fantastic?
Yes, a couple weeks ago we found three planets around a distant star that might have surface temperature suitable for liquid water.
And what's the first thing you think of when you hear this story?
Is there something alive? 40 light years away. Hey! Yo! What are you listening to this morning?
So
I paraphrase.
We know you just as Bill Nye the Science Guy, but do you?
You guys, you should see her hands.
They're all
She's
over the
shaping
place.
in the air. She's shaping.
She's holding a sphere, an invisible sphere.
But is there a branch of science that you just especially
Well,
love more
I'm
than
of a certain age. I grew up. It's all about physics for me.
So physics.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with the space program. I was on my knees when watching black and white television when guys walked on the moon. It was amazing. So, but now the thing that's going to change history is CRISPR, is this genetic modification technology, because we understand DNA. So just you guys understand that. It is a remarkable thing that Charles Darwin, Alfred Russel Wallace discovered evolution without really knowing what DNA was. It's amazing. I mean, in other words, the evidence of it is external or bigger. And so they now, by understanding DNA, we're going to be able to modify DNA. So if you have some issue, let's say you have cerebellar ataxia and you walk like you can't keep your balance, we could correct that.
How do you feel about all the things that could be corrected, or in someone's opinion corrected? What about the color of your skin or your?
Well, we could. That's very reasonable. You could plan that.
But this gets into the world of whether
Racism?
We should or not. Yeah, absolutely.
So we remind us from a scientific standpoint, there's really not any such thing as race.
Right.
It isn't. What do you mean, right? You're good. You're down with that?
Playing God. I mean, playing God, deciding things.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess everybody plays God. I was going to go down the following road.
Okay, go down that road.
Humans have run this test billions of times. If you have somebody from Finland who interacts with somebody from East Africa, can we say interacts?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Or have sex with.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
do.
Okay.
Has a special kind of hug with.
Yeah. Then what you get is a human. That's all you get. You don't get some other new thing. You get a human. So the color of your skin and most facial features are so superficial that we can show scientifically that there's no such thing as race, really. There's tribes, traditions. So we hope that in the coming decades, we all get over this. Move on.
I wish we could faster. Why do we have to wait for the next decade?
Okay, let's do it this weekend.
Let's do it.
Come on,
Let's all
everybody.
take-
It'll be fun.
Once again, we take a vote.
Oh my God.
Yes, Froggy.
Oh, no. So when is the first time, Bill, that you put baking soda and vinegar together in a volcano? Because that was my favorite science project as a kid. How old were you when you first did that and discovered how cool it was?
Well, for me, it wasn't a volcano. It was just the bubbles were cool. And then if you do it in a bottle, you can inflate a balloon, which is cool.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm making that. No, you can try this. Put baking soda in a bottle, pour some vinegar in, put a balloon on really quickly, and the balloon will inflate because you're evolving carbon dioxide gas. And what we want you to get out there, if you're making a volcano for science class with vinegar and baking soda, maybe some dishwashing soap and red food coloring to give it that orange lava effect. Remember, the gas that's coming out of that chemical reaction is the same gas that comes out of volcanoes, carbon dioxide. Now, volcanoes also produce hydrogen sulfide, which is hilarious. But just don't forget that there is a close chemical connection. Hydrogen sulfide isn't that funny.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
So, Scary, what is your question for Bill Nye the Science Guy?
I saw all over the news yesterday that an asteroid is going to pass by Earth today and come within 100 million miles of us.
Yes.
What are the odds that an asteroid or something like it can actually strike us?
Oh,
'Cause
they're
that's
high
lifelong-
enough. So, everybody, what's your homepage? That's right, planetary.org.
Right.
So I am the CEO of the Planetary Society, the world's largest non-governmental space interest organization advancing space science and exploration so that citizens everywhere will know the cosmos and our place within it. And so we are very concerned about what we call planetary defense. Detecting an asteroid is, as the saying goes, looking for a charcoal briquette in the dark. It's not impossible, it's difficult. So what we want to do is identify these objects and then come up with a means to deflect them. And the means to deflect them is actually pretty well understood. It is rocket science. So if you knew the thing was going to hit the Earth long enough in advance, you'd send a rocket out there, give it a tap, send a rocket out there, use its mutual gravity with your spacecraft to give it a little tug, or blast it in space with lasers from satellites that are powered by solar panels. Of course, you're in space, so there's no sound. So if you come up to the asteroid, it's more like... Okay. And so, but you would be deflecting the asteroid by causing material to ablate or burn off the surface. So this is something we think about all the time.
Is Bruce Willis in on those meetings?
So
with
you don't want to send Bruce Willis.
No, we don't?
No, because if you blow it up, there's a chance you'll make things worse. That you'll have, if these objects, when we see science fiction movies and stuff, these objects are tumbling and they got something going on. But many asteroids are just a very loose aggregation of separate rocks that have a tiny bit of gravity. But if you're in space for 4.5 billion years, that's enough gravity to make these things that look like solid objects. They're actually like a sand ball, a dirt clod. So watch out about exploding it.
Gotcha.
However, if we find it too late, that's kind of the best solution, is to set off a nuclear weapon nearby.
And hopefully it'll do the right thing. But tapping it and sending it off course.
Giving it a tap is the way to go.
And Bruce Willis is always the first person we call.
Yeah, well, you guys, it's science fiction that's based on science. And when I was a kid, nobody had a real good theory as to what happened to the ancient dinosaurs. But now the best thing is that they're hit by an asteroid. The Earth was hit by something.
So what scares you? Is there anything that really...
And
that really
I'll say,
frightens
guys,
you?
right now, I grew up also where people were very concerned about nuclear war. And when I was a kid, we'd go to the elementary school hallway and get in the brace position, waiting for flying glass to come shooting over our heads when a thermonuclear weapon was exploded.
Like
nearby.
glass was the worst thing that could happen during...
Well, it's an issue. And so, you guys, we just don't, it's really serious. Do not rattle the sabers so aggressively that you accidentally start an interaction with people that don't realize how serious it is. My parents were both in World War II, and it was resolved through relatively small nuclear weapons, and you can go to places in Japan where this thing went off, but you can't. It's really serious. You can't just go setting off a nuclear weapon.
We're talking curtains here, basically.
Yeah, we're talking very curtainish. Yeah. And then it'll be all these apocalyptic things where people in Australia are driving around trying to get gasoline, killing each other and stuff. So that would be the best case. No. I am. If you like to worry about things, that's a good time.
Well, this is actually something we can change. We have immediate control over this. Not easy. I'm not saying it's easy.
I would say that, yeah, but lately it seems like people are getting a little carried away. Long traditions of diplomacy are really, they're there for good long reasons. Fighting war is really inefficient. I mean, I know we all know this, but if you ask me what I'm worried about today,
that's what you're worried
about. Climate change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
The world is getting warmer faster than it's ever gotten warmer before, ever. And we have 7.4 billion people. Pretty soon we're going to have 9 and 10 billion people, and they're all going to want to eat something and have clean water and reliable electricity, and this is serious business. So the way to address these problems is not by believing something really hard. It's through what?
Science.
Yes.
Science.
Yes.
The thing with climate change is one of the aspects is we live in a society where if we do something, we want to see immediate results. This is something
that's not entirely true.
But a lot of people, that's the way. It's immediate gratification. We live in a world of that.
It's not entirely true.
And so people don't believe it.
How long did it take to build the World Trade Center Memorial?
Well, 15
years.
Yeah.
Okay. In 15 years, we could be 80% renewable in the United States. By that, I mean wind, solar, some geothermal, some tidal energy. We could run the whole place for free, from free electricity, if we just decided to do it. And then another 15 years, and another 30, 35, 40 years, we could be 100% renewable. Check out the Solutions Project. If you're out there and you bought a It's Not Magic, It's Science t-shirt, thank you. Thanks to you, we gave $100,000 to the Solutions Project. So these are civil engineers. These are not a bunch of hippies making stuff up. Civil engineers have done an analysis of our energy infrastructure in the United States, Canada, Mexico, and 127 other countries around the world, and we could power the whole place renewably. And this would be domestically produced energy. Wouldn't need to have a military on the other side of the world conducting war. We could make our energy here at home. Yes, we will not have coal mining jobs. I know. My grandfather went into World War I on a horse. He rode a horse into battle around trenches at night. And one of the reasons I'm here is he lived through it. Not everybody did. But 20 years later, nobody rode a horse into battle. Okay, your ancestors mined coal. I know. Great. We can't mine coal anymore. Let's do something new and cool. Let's put up wind turbines. Let's put solar photovoltaic panels on every warehouse and Walmart and Superstore, and let's change the world, people.
I love wind turbines.
Wind turbines are cool.
They are. They're fun to watch.
They kill birds. If you want to kill birds, mine coal, okay? The coal effluent, the stuff that comes out of the smokestacks of coal plants is really bad for birds. But that neither here nor there. This is a solvable problem, people. Let's go.
Bill Nye, the Science Guy. We have now questions from the non-science guy, Greg T. Greg T,
boy.
Bill Nye.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Well, now that I'm here with you, Greg, I'm fabulous.
Hey, Bill, my question is this. Why is the sky blue?
That is a subtle and wonderful question, and the short answer is scattering. So scattering's a physics phenomenon, generally named for a guy named Rayleigh, Lord Rayleigh, Rayleigh scattering, and it goes as the fourth power of the frequency of the light. So it's the square of the square. So blue light is higher frequency, so it is scattered more strongly than red light. And so the sky is blue. So the sun's over here, but you look over there and the sky is blue because the red light is scattered away from your eye. However, at sunset, so much blue light is scattered so aggressively that all that's left is the red. When you go to Mars, It's the other way around, man. Whoa, dude. It's blue,
That's incredible.
Blue at sunrise and sunset and red at midday on
So
Mars.
again, why is the sky blue?
No, so it's because the waves of light are about the same distance apart. The troughs and crests of the waves of light are about the same distance apart as air molecules.
So,
all the various constituents of air are the molecules are relatively small compared to the distance between them.
wow.
There you have it.
Okay, so Bill, listen. So scientists have said for years now that California is going to break off and float away.
Scientists haven't said that. That's
Can you name one scientist who said that?
Well, I just want to know
It's a
where
cool
are
James
we?
Bond movie.
Where are we on that theory?
Do you really think California's going to float?
No, you guys just. I know that sounds charming when you draw a map, but that's not how it works.
So it's not going to happen?
No.
Really?
Sorry, man. And California is, by the way, we're here in New York, and my sense was California's going to break up.
Yeah.
California is now the 6th largest economy in the world. It's bigger than France. So, and this is not insignificant. There's a big deal now about states' rights. We're going to have states' rights. That's what we want. Well, watch out, conservative people who want to set aside environmental regulations. California is such a big economy. What if California says we're not going to buy your car unless it meets certain emission standards. We're not going to buy your goods and services unless they meet certain emission standards. Then California would be running the show, and that's not what you intended, is it?
No.
So careful out there, people who want to get rid of regulations just because. So, Bill,
be
careful.
I was wondering.
But wait a minute. You bring up a very good point. Out of all the states that I'm aware of as far as reading news and about regulations, they are the most likely to pass these regulations.
Oh, yeah. People in California are very concerned about the environment.
And you know what? And I love that.
Well, I mean, it's just the way. It's not just tradition. It's how the economy grew there on fisheries and agriculture. And then you ended up with Silicon Valley. This whole thing makes a lot. There's a lot of money sloshes in and out. And when people were delineating states a long time ago, California is a huge freaking thing. I mean, it's the size of okay, don't bust my chops. I'm shooting from the hip. There's 6 New Yorks.
Wow.
Like that. Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful place. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah. The only thing, the drawback is all the people.
Well, before you go, Bill.
No, I think you've asked enough questions. Thank you. I'm afraid to hear what the next. Do you dare hear the next question?
I'm all for the next question.
One more question. Let's see.
Well, Bill, exactly. Can you tell me what makes a double rainbow, and have you ever actually seen one?
Okay,
So
that's a good question.
Double rainbows are not that rare. So everybody, it has to be this mythic thing called the directed angle. Okay, I don't want to introduce a word. Let's start with this. Sun has to be behind you. The rain has to be off in the distance. The sun goes from behind you into the raindrop, out of the back of the raindrop, and then towards your eye. So every time that happens, it happens in double fashion. The first rainbow is purple on the inside, red on the outside. The second one's red on the inside, purple on the outside. And the 2 rainbows exist naturally. One day, when I was very young, I was at Haines Point, which is in Washington, D.C., and we saw a triple rainbow.
Ooh.
And my mother said, Bill, don't forget this. It's a triple rainbow. And then later in physics class, I saw that you can't possibly have a triple rainbow. Wait, conflict of my eyewitness account with the math. Turns out you can have a triple rainbow if there's another source of light. So what was happening was light from behind us was hitting the distant raindrops, producing a double rainbow. Then light was bouncing off the Potomac River.
Oh, wow.
And bouncing into the raindrops and then into our eyes. So it was very cool. But the angle between, this is fun, the angle between the beam of light from the sun to the raindrop to your eye has to be 42 degrees, almost exactly. I think it's 42.1 degrees. So it only happens when the sun is low in the sky. You just seldom see a rainbow when the sun's straight up, unless light's bouncing off a body of water, a lake, a pond, a happy thing. So, or the ice, if you're in Greenland or something. So it is cool. It's not magic. It's
science,
and it is beautiful.
Well,
it's
thank
all
you.
that.
I learned a lot today.
Yes.
You really did. We all did.
So I've seen, now you can go online because everybody's got a digital camera and you see lots of pictures of triple rainbows. But it has to do, you'll see the third rainbow is not parallel or concentric with the first 2. It's very cool. And everybody has his or her own rainbow. That is to say, every observer is getting light that's going right to your eye only. So sometimes if you're driving, you'll see a rainbow in the distance, and then it kind of goes away because the sunlight isn't making the right path to you.
Well, thank you, Bill Nye.
It's all about you.
It is all about you. Because we're selfish beings, and it's all about us.
Well, no, it's
or your perspective where you are.
Reflected through the raindrop.
I'm so excited.
And by the way, thinking it's all about you, not changing the subject.
Yes, sir.
There's another fabulous phenomenon which in English is called a glory. So if you get a foggy morning, the sunlight will be bouncing off the fog droplets, going into the fog droplets, bouncing off the backside of the fog droplets and coming to your head, to your eyes. And it looks like there's a rainbow around your head. It looks like you have a halo.
Like a halo.
And so this is where this myth of the halo came from. People thought it's all about me. These raindrops, these fog droplets are all for me. It's for me so that I can have a halo. I have a glory. I must be a great person. Either that or you're living on the earth with sunlight and fog. Either one. And so
there's that.
That's where this came from. It's really a fascinating thing.
Wow.
But
it's
I do
not
have
magic.
There are days I do have a halo.
Yeah,
but to have a double
about that.
A double halo would be just quite a remarkable
double
day.
Halo, sure.
Bill Nye the Science Guy, the Netflix series, 13 shows to see.
Binge 'em.
Binge 'em. It hops out of Netflix beginning Friday. Thank you so much for coming in.
So much fun, you guys.
Yeah.
It's all
Let's
science.
change the world.